Hi everyone, this is Anna, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the controversy behind the Miss Japan 2015 or Miss Universe Japan 2015. Now, why is there controversy going on in Japan and therefore the many reactions around the world? Well, this is because people in Japan are saying that Ariana Miyamoto, the girl who won the Miss Japan 2015, is not Japanese enough. Now, why is she not Japanese enough? Well, because her mother is Japanese and her father is African American. Ariana Miyamoto grew up in Japan, and so she has grown up there all her life. She's lived just 2 years in the United States, so it's not as if she's spent a lifetime in another country or anything. And so her aura, her personality, the way that she holds herself is, to me, is very Japanese. And so I think that definitely she deserves to be the Miss Universe, because now she is a great role model for all the people that are half Japanese in Japan, living in Japan. Now, why is this such a big deal? Well, it is because Japan is an island country, so there's no country surrounding it. And so they're not really used to having many foreigners being in Japan, and they're not used to many foreigners being Japanese. And so Ariana Miyamoto is going to do a great job representing all the half Japanese people in Japan and around the world, and to put this issue on the table, put it out there so that everyone can start talking about it. What do Japanese people call the half Japanese people? Well, we get called haafu. So what does this mean? Well, this is just simply coming from an English word, half, meaning half Japanese and half another nationality. The reason that I think that Ariana Miyamoto is going to be such a great role model is because she is just doing it. She is being Miss Japan 2015 proudly, even with all this criticism, with all this just all these opinions out there saying that she shouldn't be Miss Japan, she shouldn't represent the country. And the reason that she's doing this is because of a big issue that comes in Japan, is that she said that her friend, who was also half Japanese and half another nationality, so in Japanese words, haafu, he committed suicide because he was made fun of, he didn't fit in Japan. And now that's really, really sad, and I think Ariana will do a great job representing us. She looks amazing. She is like so beautiful, and she seems like a really great person to represent us. Now, why do I care? Well, because I am half as well. So my mother is Japanese and my father is Australian. But the difference between her and I, amongst many other differences, is that I didn't grow up in Japan and I grew up in Australia. And why? Well, I was actually born in Japan, but when I turned 2 years old, so when my older sister turned 5, my parents decided it was better for us to grow up in Australia. And why was that? Well, at the age of 5, my older sister, had just started kindergarten. And yes, she was, it wasn't as if there was racist remarks from the children, but the children didn't understand, why she looked different, why she had different hair color, eye color, why she looked a bit different. They didn't understand that, and that's fine, they're children. But also, my father, being Australian, he wanted us to speak English as well. So he wanted to speak to us in English, and then for us to speak Japanese in schools and to our mother. But when he spoke English to us on the street or outside, he got many, many looks from many people. So he didn't really want us to grow up like that. So, and yeah, I guess, like, Australia is a great country to grow up in. So we went to Australia to grow up. Now, I'm not saying that Japan is a bad country at all. Like, I love Japan, and honestly, it's my second home, and I really, really love Japan. I love the people, I love the culture, I love the food, I love everything about Japan. I have been many, many times, and I really love it. But this video is basically just to, you know, talk about this one issue. What happened with me, so I grew up in Australia, but what happened is that I would go back to Japan to visit my mother's side of the family in a small town, and we would visit them every couple of years, and my mother made great efforts for us to attend school during the time that we were there. So we were there for a month long each time we went back, and we attended, my sister, myself, and my younger brother, we all attended school. So that we had something to do, but also, you know, just to experience education and school in Japan. And it was an amazing experience. Like, the first day, I remember I was in grade 1. So how old is that? Like 5 or 6 years old. And I went in there and, you know, I was introduced to everyone by the teacher, but I was really shy. And all the kids were like looking at me and being like, oh, who is that? You know, she's so different. And so, but everyone was silent, so I didn't know what they were thinking, but I just thought, oh, they're thinking that I'm weird or, you know, not one of them. And I was sitting there, and as soon as the bell went for like lunchtime or the first break, they all came and ran up to me and just wanted to talk to me, wanted to ask me questions and this and that. And it was amazing. And so basically every time I went, so I was kind of like the automatically the popular kid of the school, and like for me that was great, and I really loved it. But you know, at the time I loved it, but now thinking back, you know, was it for the right reasons? You know, they didn't even know what I was like, but they automatically just wanted to talk to me, partly because it was a small town that I was in. So people, I couldn't have been there. I couldn't have been in the school. I couldn't have been in the town if I didn't speak Japanese. So people automatically would speak Japanese to me and would just expect me to speak Japanese, which was great. It was as if they were kind of like accepted that I was part Japanese. And that was great, and that was like one of the best experiences I've had, and I'm so grateful to my mother for, you know, making that effort for us to attend the school, which wouldn't have been easy. But yeah, it was the best experience, and I've got lots of friends from those years, even though it was just primary school up until I was 12 years old, but I still keep in touch with them. And yeah, it was just a really amazing experience. Now, on the other hand, you know, because I love Japan, I wanted to attend university. So I studied university in Australia, but I did 1 semester exchange to Japan, and I went to Nagoya, which is quite a large town. It's a city in between Tokyo and Kyoto. Toyota, the car company, is located in Nagoya, so there are actually many foreigners. So I went there, you know, expecting the same reaction as I had when I was in the primary school. But was it the same? No, sadly it wasn't. Every group of people, everywhere I went and I opened my mouth to speak Japanese, they would be like, oh my God, your Japanese is so good. And well, like, I've been speaking it since I was born. Basically, it was my first language, and I continue to speak it with my mother. It is a compliment when people say, oh, you know, you're very good at this language, but to me, I feel Japanese. I feel Japanese and I feel Australian. Or basically, I feel haafu. And yes, it was nice to get that compliment, but I kind of just wanted them to just accept that I was Japanese. Most of the time they would already know that my mother was Japanese. And yes, I must admit that there are many people who are half Japanese or half any nationality, and they don't speak that language. So yes, while it was a compliment for them to say, oh, your Japanese is so good, I just wanted them to accept me for being Japanese as I was. And yes, so but because it was a big city and there were many foreigners there, it was because there were many foreigners who didn't speak Japanese. So then they kind of, because being a big city, they just assumed that all foreigners didn't speak Japanese. It was easier that way, and basically that's what it was. So in the supermarkets, in the shops, they kind of wouldn't really start talking to you in Japanese. And then also because I went as an international student on exchange, so the university exchange, because I went as an international student, I was treated as an international student, and I didn't really fit in the classes. Like no one would talk to me because, you know, Japan being a very, very shy culture, they wouldn't really talk to me, especially the boys. So I was kind of like, oh, this is not the same experience as the one in my mum's town. And you know what, like I had to accept that. Like the way that I got over that is to just accept that, okay, I'm half Japanese and half Australian who grew up in Australia. So that's why I am not one of them, which is fine. But say if that kind of thing happened in Australia or many other countries, you would just be accepted, no questions asked. Oh, okay, you've been living here. Oh, okay, that's fine. So, I mean, yeah, like it's still a bit of an issue, I think. And, you know, Japan is such a developed country. It has obviously, you know, the most advanced technology in the world, or one of, and there's like infrastructure, people, you know, ideas, but there are like this idea of like halves not being Japanese. This is like a very old, like a, you know, ancient thought kind of thing. So they kind of need to accept that the world is changing and just move on and start accepting it. I didn't grow up in Japan, so I can't imagine what it would be like to be haafu and grow up in Japan. Like, I think that would be really difficult. All your life you would feel that you don't fit in when that is all you know. You grew up in Japan, so that is all you know, and still you're not accepted. So I think what Ariana Miyamoto is doing is such like a commendable thing, and she's, you know, putting it out there to the world and making the world aware, making Japan aware of this issue, and this sad issue that if people are taking their lives over it, you know, then things need to change. So, you know, I'm really happy that she's Miss Japan, and, you know, good on her, congratulations. And yeah, I'd like to just say thank you, Ariana Miyamoto.